As of today, it's been 1 year since Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out, and I wanted to celebrate the occasion by spending some time going over why this game is so special. Let's get into it. The build-up to the game itself was really memorable. It was announced in February 2022 at the very end of a Nintendo Direct. This in and of itself was a pretty big deal for the Xenoblade franchise, once a Japan-only release, and now something Nintendo considers big enough to save as the one last thing of a full Nintendo Direct. This trailer revealed that the worlds of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 were coming together in a story about war, following the two protagonists, Noah and Mio. The game was revealed to be releasing in September 2022. Now, speaking personally, I had never actually completed a Xenoblade game when this came out. My only experience with the first game was watching bits and pieces of Chugga Conroy's Let's Play of the game several years ago. I had owned the second game for a while, and no matter how many times I tried, I just couldn't get into it. The start of the game felt like such a slow burn, and it never really caught my interest enough for me to keep playing it. When this first trailer for Xenoblade 3 came out, I got excited enough that I decided to finally force myself to continue playing through Xenoblade 2, and I ended up actually loving the game by the end of it, even though there were some parts that I wasn't too big of a fan of. A couple months later, the second trailer for Xenoblade 3 was shown off, and it revealed lots of new details about the combat system, including our first look at Ouroboros forms. Not only that, we also got the release date, which instead of being delayed, was actually moved up a couple months to July 29th, 2022. I was really excited about this, but it also meant that I had to beat the first game a lot sooner than I thought I would. So after this trailer, I ended up buying Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Switch and got playing immediately. This one took no time to hook me, and I absolutely loved exploring the world of Bionis and Mechonis. Shulk's story quickly became one of my favorites in gaming. Now, I'm not trying to start any Xenoblade 1 versus 2 debates, but the first game resonated with me a lot more and really made me a fan of the franchise. I actually managed to beat the game in just a few hours before the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct in June 2022. Over the course of just a few months, I went from seeing the first Xenoblade 3 trailer as someone who had never completed a game in the franchise to being extremely excited for the game as someone who loved the first two. The Direct gave us lots of new details to look forward to, and it wasn't long until the game launched on July 29th, 2022. The launch was amazing. Xenoblade fans everywhere around the world were enjoying it. The gameplay, story, soundtrack, characters, and more. Now, we can have lots of critical discussions about where the game went right and where it disappointed, but overall, people were absolutely loving playing through the game. Personally, I remember not even being able to put it down when it came out. Every story beat kept me hooked, and the new gameplay mechanics and systems were the most fun I've ever had with the gameplay of a Xenoblade game. I could gush about what I love about the game forever, but I'll save that for another time. Today, I want to talk more about the impact of the game on the community. A big part of this were the major bits of fan service for fans of the first two games. From the recognizable landmarks in the world to discovering the identity of the familiar-looking queens of Kevis and Agnes, there were plenty of mind-blowing moments in the game. One huge reaction I remember is going on Twitter and seeing Chapter 5 trending for several days because of how massive of a moment it was. That section was the highlight of the game for me. One of the biggest strengths of Xenoblade 3 is its emotional impact during major story beats, and you could tell just by seeing the reactions of people all over the internet to these moments. The ending of the game was also really impactful. Regardless of people's issues with the game, its launch was a special time for any Xenoblade fan. The critical reception to the game was also huge, receiving a score of 89 on Metacritic. Fans and critics alike were loving it, and this was only proven further when the game was actually nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2022. The Xenoblade series had never seen anything like this before, and it was wild to see a franchise that Nintendo of America once didn't even consider worth bringing over to America get nominated on the biggest stage in gaming. Of course, with competition like God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring, the game never had a chance of winning the award, but so many fans, including me, were absolutely elated at the nomination alone. Xenoblade was up there with massive blockbuster releases getting recognized at the industry's biggest show. I also personally loved seeing music from the game being performed by the Game Awards Orchestra. With all of that being said, the launch of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and the following months were an awesome time for fans of the series. There was still more to look forward to though, because we still had the major DLC expansion yet to release. There were lots of fan theories about what the DLC would be about, but all of those were put to rest on April 18th, 2023, when Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed was revealed, which was a story expansion going back to the time of the founders of the city that were found in the base game. What made this even more special was seeing Shulk and Rex return as playable characters. Future Redeemed released just 1 week later on April 25th, and while it was a prequel to the events of the base game, it also served as a conclusion to the Klaus saga of the greater Xenoblade series, and also gave fans a hint of what's in store for the future of the franchise. I personally loved the conclusion they gave to the story, and I'm extremely excited to see what Monolith Soft does next with the franchise. The timing of the reveal was also great for me personally, because I saw the trailer for Future Redeemed right after getting out of a 3-hour exam, and I was able to start my summer off by playing something I had been really looking forward to. This was especially surprising because Monolith Soft had previously announced to expect the DLC before the end of the year, and while we did have an idea that it would be coming out sometime in the summer thanks to the release of the game's soundtrack, we had no idea that it would be before the end of April. It was really amazing to see the end of the story, and I'm really happy to have gotten to experience that along with so many other people. The Xenoblade series is really special, and the third game went above and beyond my expectations. 1 year later, Xenoblade 3 has continued to leave a lasting impact on fans of the series, and I think it'll continue to leave that impact on returning fans and new players for years to come. It was a really special experience, and it makes me even more excited for the future of the franchise. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It's been a while since my last video, and I'm not sure if I have the time to consistently make content, but I hope to make more gaming videos from time to time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.